November 30th, 1987. Monday Night Football, the Los Angeles Raiders versus the Seattle Seahawks. Bo Jackson took a handoff, found a crease, and then did something that no human being should be able to do. He accelerated. At 6'1" and 227 pounds, he hit a gear that made NFL defenders look like they were standing still. 91 yards later, he was in the end zone. But he didn't stop. He kept running, right through the end zone, right into the tunnel of the Kingdome. He literally ran out of the stadium. The cameras couldn't even follow it. The announcers lost their minds. And somewhere in America, millions of people watching on their couches looked at each other and said the same thing. Did that just happen? That wasn't a special play drawn up by the coaches. That wasn't some trick play or a broken coverage. That was a man with the football being faster than every single professional athlete on the field. All 11 defenders, none of them could catch him, not even close. But here's what's truly insane about that play. That was only Bo Jackson's 5th NFL game. His 5th! He was still a part-time football player, a baseball player moonlighting in the NFL, and he had just produced one of the most iconic plays in Monday Night Football history. He finished that game with 18 carries for 221 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Raiders destroyed Seattle 37-14, and Bo Jackson had announced to the football world that something extraordinary had arrived. You know what the craziest part is? That 91-yard run wasn't even his longest. 2 years later, he'd break it with a 92-yard touchdown against the Cincinnati Bengals, and the year after that, he'd rip off an 88-yard score. 3 of the 4 longest runs in Raiders franchise history belong to one man, a man who played football as a hobby. Let that sink in. Bo Jackson treated the NFL like a side job, and he was still the most explosive player in the league. Bo Jackson grew up in Bessemer, Alabama, the 8th of 10 children. His family didn't have much, but Bo had something that couldn't be taught. He had a body that seemed designed in a laboratory. At McAdory High School, he was a 3-sport star in football, baseball, and track and field. He won 2 state decathlon titles. He threw multiple no-hitters on the baseball diamond. And on the football field, he played nearly every snap on both sides of the ball and handled all the kicking duties. Every major college in America wanted him. Every professional scout had him circled. He chose Auburn University, and that's where he became a legend. At Auburn, Bo rushed for 4,303 career yards. His senior season in 1985, he ran for 1,786 yards and 17 touchdowns. He won the Heisman Trophy. Not just won it, he was the clear-cut best player in college football. The kind of talent that comes around once in a generation, maybe once ever. Now here's where the story gets wild. Pay attention, because what happened next had never happened before in professional sports. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers selected Bo Jackson with the first overall pick in the 1986 NFL Draft. The number 1 pick. Every team in football wanted him. Tampa Bay got him, and Bo Jackson looked at the Buccaneers and said no. He flat out refused to play for them. The relationship had soured after Tampa Bay's owner flew Bo out on a private plane to visit the team during his college baseball season, which violated NCAA rules and cost Bo his college baseball eligibility. Bo never forgave them for it. Instead, he signed with the Kansas City Royals of Major League Baseball. 4th-round pick. Bo Jackson was going to play baseball. The Buccaneers had wasted the first overall pick on a man who would never wear their uniform. But here's the genius part. Al Davis, the legendary Raiders owner, was paying attention. Davis knew that Tampa Bay's rights to Bo would expire after 1 year. So in the 1987 NFL Draft, Davis selected Bo Jackson in the 7th round, the 183rd pick, and he made Bo an offer nobody else would. Play baseball for as long as you want. When the baseball season ends, come play football. We'll pay you a full-time salary, no pressure. Bo said yes, and professional sports would never be the same. Think about what Bo Jackson was doing. He was playing a full Major League Baseball season for the Kansas City Royals, then joining the Raiders mid-season to play running back in the NFL. 2 of the most physically demanding sports on the planet, simultaneously. No other athlete was doing this at the highest level. And Bo wasn't just showing up, he was dominating. His first NFL season in 1987, he played just 7 games. 7 games. He rushed for 554 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's an average of 6.8 yards per carry. For context, the league average that year was around 3.8. Bo was nearly doubling it. And remember, this included the 91-yard touchdown on Monday Night Football that made every sports fan in America lose their mind. Now here's what people don't talk about enough. Bo Jackson's 1988 season was solid, but unremarkable by his standards. 10 games, 580 yards, 3 touchdowns, a 4.3 average. Still good, but not the Bo Jackson people expected. He was adjusting, learning the NFL game, figuring out how to switch from swinging a bat to carrying a football in the middle of the year. Then came 1989, and this is where Bo Jackson proved he wasn't human. On the baseball diamond that summer, Bo was selected to the American League All-Star team. The game was at Anaheim Stadium, July 11, 1989. Former President Ronald Reagan was in the broadcast booth with Vin Scully. The National League scored 2 runs in the top of the first inning. Bo Jackson stepped to the plate to lead off the bottom of the first, his very first All-Star game at bat. Rick Ruschel threw a pitch. Bo crushed it. The ball flew an estimated 448 feet. It landed on the tarp behind center field. A mammoth leadoff home run. The crowd erupted. Reagan was mid-sentence, talking about Bo's football career, when the ball left the stadium. Vin Scully's call was simple, but perfect. Wade Boggs followed with another homer to tie the game. The American League won 5-3, and Bo Jackson, in his only career All-Star appearance, was named the game's most valuable player. He went 2 for 4 with 2 runs batted in. But here's the detail that makes this moment legendary. During the commercial break, right after Bo's home run, Nike debuted the very first Bo Knows commercial, right there, during the All-Star game. The timing was either the greatest coincidence in advertising history or the most perfectly planned campaign ever conceived. Bo Knows became one of the most iconic slogans in the history of sports marketing, and Bo Jackson became one of the most recognizable athletes on earth. That same 1989 season, Bo hit 32 home runs and drove in 105 runs for the Royals, career highs in both categories. Then he switched sports and rushed for 950 yards and 4 touchdowns in 11 games for the Raiders, averaging 5.5 yards per carry. His longest run that season was 92 yards, the longest in Raiders history. He was an all-star in baseball and the most explosive runner in football in the same calendar year. Nobody had ever done anything like that. Nobody has done it since. But what exactly made Bo Jackson so physically dominant? What separated him from every other athlete? It was the combination. That's what people who watched him understood. It wasn't one thing. It was everything, all packed into one body. Bo was 6'1" and 227 pounds of solid muscle. He had the size of a linebacker and the speed of a sprinter. His reported 40-yard dash time has been a subject of legend and debate. Bo himself has said he was electronically timed at 4.13 seconds at Auburn. Whether that exact number is verified or not, what's undeniable is what he did on film. He outran defensive backs, professional defensive backs whose only job was to be fast. Bo ran past them like they weren't there. But speed alone doesn't explain Bo Jackson. Plenty of fast players have come through the NFL. What made Bo terrifying was that he combined elite speed with devastating power. He could outrun you to the corner, and if you somehow got in his way, he could run through you. That combination at that level simply hadn't existed before, and many would argue it hasn't existed since. Watch the film carefully. Bo Jackson didn't dance behind the line of scrimmage. He hit the hole and exploded. His acceleration from 0 to top speed was almost instantaneous. Defenders would calculate an angle, commit to a pursuit path, and Bo would be past them before they could adjust. The geometry of tackling simply didn't work against him because he was faster than the math suggested he should be. And remember, this was a man who hadn't played football since the previous January. Every season, he'd show up weeks into the NFL schedule, having spent the past 6 months swinging a baseball bat. No training camp, no preseason games, no football conditioning. He'd walk in, strap on the pads, and immediately become the most dangerous player on the field. That's how gifted he was. His raw athletic ability was so far beyond normal that preparation almost didn't matter. In 1990, Bo Jackson had arguably his most complete NFL season. He played 10 games, rushed for 698 yards and 5 touchdowns, averaged 5.6 yards per carry, and ripped off an 88-yard touchdown run. He led the Raiders in rushing, and he was named to the Pro Bowl. That made him the first athlete in history to be named to both a Major League All-Star team and the NFL Pro Bowl. The first athlete to be an All-Star in 2 major North American professional sports, a distinction that still belongs to him alone. Compare Bo Jackson to today's athletes, and the conversation gets uncomfortable. Derrick Henry has the power, but not the same top-end speed. Tyreek Hill has the speed, but not the same size and power. Lamar Jackson has the explosiveness, but plays a completely different position. The modern NFL has never seen a running back who combined Bo's size, speed, and raw power in one package. And the modern NFL will almost certainly never see someone playing 2 professional sports at the same time, at an elite level. The specialization of modern athletics has made that virtually impossible. Now here's where the story turns, and this is the part that still hurts. January 13, 1991, the AFC Divisional Playoff, the Raiders versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Bo Jackson took a handoff, broke through the line, and ripped off a 34-yard run. A vintage Bo Jackson play. But on the tackle, something went wrong. A defender grabbed him awkwardly, and Bo's left hip was wrenched out of position. He went down. He tried to get up. He couldn't. He was helped off the field and didn't return. At first, the Raiders called it a strain. They listed him as doubtful. There was hope he might play the following week, but the truth was far worse. Bo Jackson had suffered damage to the blood supply in his hip. The condition was called a vascular necrosis. Without proper blood flow, the bone in his hip joint began to deteriorate, to die. The Kansas City Royals released him on March 18, 1991. The greatest two-sport athlete in history was suddenly unwanted. Doctors said he would never play football again. Some said he'd never play baseball again either. That playoff game against Cincinnati was the last time Bo Jackson ever played football. He was 28 years old. In just 38 career NFL games, he had rushed for 2,782 yards, scored 18 total touchdowns, and averaged 5.4 yards per carry. He had 3 runs of 88 yards or longer. He had a Monday Night Football performance that's still talked about nearly 4 decades later. All of that in just 38 games as a part-time player. But Bo Jackson wasn't done. Not completely. The Chicago White Sox took a chance on him, signing him in April of 1991. Bo had hip replacement surgery in 1992. Then, against all medical odds, he returned to play 85 games for the White Sox in 1993. He hit a home run in his first at-bat back, because of course, he did. He finished his baseball career with the California Angels in 1994 before retiring in 1995. 141 career home runs, 82 stolen bases, 2,782 rushing yards, a Heisman Trophy, an All-Star Game MVP, a Pro Bowl selection, and the most famous advertising slogan in sports history, all packed into a career cut short by one bad tackle on one January afternoon. Here's the question that haunts every football fan over 50. What if that hip injury never happened? What if Bo Jackson had played 10 full NFL seasons instead of 4 partial ones? What if he had committed to football full-time? The numbers suggest something staggering. In his 38 games, Bo averaged 73 rushing yards per game. If you project that over a full 16-game season for 10 years, you're looking at numbers that would challenge the all-time rushing records. And that's using his actual production as a part-time player. Imagine what he could have done with a full training camp, a full preseason, and a body that hadn't just played an entire baseball season. We'll never know. And that's what makes Bo Jackson the most tantalizing what-if in NFL history. If you watched Bo Jackson play, you remember the speed, that terrifying, impossible speed coming from a man who looked like a bodybuilder. You remember the Monday Night Football run into the tunnel. You remember the All-Star home run while Ronald Reagan was mid-sentence. You remember the Nike commercials that made him the most famous athlete on the planet. You remember thinking that you were watching something that shouldn't be possible. A human being who was too fast, too strong, too explosive, and too talented for any single sport to contain him. They asked Bo if he knew football. He knew football. They asked if he knew baseball. He knew baseball. They asked if there was anything Bo didn't know. And for a brief, shining, incredible window of time, the answer was no. Bo knew everything. Bo did everything. And nobody who saw it will ever forget it. Hit subscribe for more breakdowns of the legends who built this game. Next week, we're covering a quarterback so clutch that his teammates swore he had ice in his veins. A man who pulled off the impossible when it mattered most. You won't want to miss it.